Hey, what's up? It's your girl Tati. Before I get into the review, I just want to say thank you for everyone who came and watched my live stream earlier with King Leo Picasso. It was my birthday, and I do appreciate all the birthday love. It was very, very greatly appreciated, and it really did make my day special. Now, another thing that always make my day special is to be able to watch pro wrestling. And, I wish I can say better things about Dynamite tonight, but this episode was actually very mid in my opinion. The first match we did have was Claudio Castagnoli versus Hangman Adam Page. I love BCC, so obviously I was a bit biased about Claudio taking the win. But when we're thinking about what's happened with Hangman and Swerve have absolutely been able to take his wins and the momentum from the last two pay-per-views, and it's been absolutely amazing for him these past few months. Meanwhile, we have Hangman, who's been gone from TV for most of that time since the Full Gear match, and I felt like, well, if he's really trying to get back into the swing of things, then he's definitely gonna have to take a win against Claudio. He does take a win after 2 buckshot lariats, and in my opinion, I do think that this was the best match of the night because it was just performed better. Everything else really did kind of feel a bit thrown on for me. And also the result of this, I felt like really makes sense, unlike a lot of things that we saw throughout the night. Now, we had an 8-man tag match where we had Orange Cassidy with Adam Copeland, Dustin Rhodes, and Preston Vance. Okay, Preston Vance. We're going to get to that in a second. Versus the Gates of Agony and Lance Archer. I wasn't mad about that, team up right there. But Preston Vance is not a babyface. Preston Vance is an absolute heel with La Facción Ingobernable. So there's no reason why he should have even been in that group. But then again, after the show, I saw a post that AEW had posted earlier, basically saying that not just Preston, but Anna Jay, who's been under the wing of Brody Lee, will be performing in a person's tag match. And then when I thought about it, I was like, okay, I see why things went the way they went. So obviously taking the win, not just the win, but he was the one who took the pin for his team to win that match. And in my opinion, I was like, okay, this is for Brody. I get it. And to me, and I get it, you want to pay homage to Brody Lee. I absolutely understand that. But does it make sense with what's going on today? No. For you to just take Preston and just say, yeah, well, we know you in the heel group, but we just want to pay tribute to Brody and have you take the win. Something about that felt off in terms of if you're keeping up with what's going on right now. Anyway, we have that match, and it actually wasn't bad. And I actually liked seeing Adam Copeland in situations like this because it's like, okay, he's in a ring full of young talent, and all these guys would absolutely love to be in the ring with someone like Adam Copeland. So it was really great to see him there, and I just see him fitting in with AEW quite nicely. However, the result of that match kind of felt like it just did not make sense, but let's keep it moving with the rest of the show. Up next, we have Bullet Club Gold backstage with Renee Paquette, and they are saying how much better that they are compared to the Undisputed Kingdom. And right now, I'm sort of kind of agreeing. However, we do have the Acclaim and Daddy Ass. They come out, and they're basically saying that, hey, we're a group. We're doing this thing together. We're together, and we should be called the Bang Bang Scissor Gang. And I'm just like, wow, very... that caught me by surprise. But I don't really understand why they need to team up. I understand that they've been personally victimized by the Undisputed Kingdom. I get it, but it still feels a little bit strange. And I said earlier during the live stream, if Juice Robinson was not injured, Juice wouldn't even let any of this foolishness happen. I'm not sure where they're going with this, but when I think of what we've seen with Jay White since he's been in AEW, he obviously had a streak going on until he faced MJF, and I'm just thinking, can we do a little bit better with them? Personally, I prefer the Bullet Club Gold as a heel team, but I don't know. I guess times are changing. So up next, we have our AEW World Champion Samoa Joe coming in the ring in a clean ass suit, and he has the new design of the world title. Now, it is still pretty much the same design, but it doesn't look like a triple B with the Burberry pattern on it, and it's not brown. So the strap is black, and it's just surrounded with gold. It's very, very pretty, very nicely done, and he's even have a nameplate on the sides, customized for Samoa Joe as well. And I love the way it looks, but I do miss the Triple B. Like, I have a background on my phone where it is MJF with the Triple B, because that shit is just so pretty. But anyway, we got a new title, we got a new champion, so we got new things going on. Samoa Joe's letting everyone in the back know that there's no crybabies up in here. People are just not gonna come walking up to Samoa Joe thinking that they got title shots. There are protocols now in AEW if you want to get your hands on Samoa Joe in the title. Now, while he's saying that, out of the blue, our homie Swerve Strickland music hits, and I'm just like, holy moly, he's definitely not following protocols. Now, he comes out with the mobile embassy, and I'm not gonna lie, I actually did not mind this, because this is Samoa Joe we're talking about. Samoa Joe is as big as the entire mobile embassy on his own, so I did not mind Swerve coming out with reinforcements just in case things got lit. Now, Swerve obviously wants a title shot. He does feel like he's at that point of his career where he deserves that. And I agree, he's definitely up getting to that point. But it's very, very soon after Samoa Joe has won the title. So I wouldn't have necessarily given him the title this quick. But while we do have Swerve who's talking, here is Hangman Adam Page, who comes out also not following protocols, and he wants his hands on the title as well. Now, it does look like a cock block situation, because obviously there's issues between Swerve and Hangman. So it just kind of feels like, okay, I know you might want the title, but are you doing this because you see Swerve here and you want to make sure that Swerve never gets a thing he wants in his life? I totally believe if that's the case. Now, obviously, both these guys are wanting to have the titles, but they're going to have to get their asses in line, because we actually do have someone who's supposed to be going against Samoa Joe. Now, obviously, we do have Hangman and Swerve. They end up retreating. They said their piece and said what they had to say. First, Nana had to pretty much get Swerve out of there because it looked like it could have gotten physical. But, we didn't want to get into any of that. Now, interesting enough, right after that, before Samoa Joe can even leave, here is Hook, who comes out. Hook is the number one contender for the AEW World title, which feels absolutely strange. And, there's been a lot of discussion about that on social media these past few days, which has blown up to go way out of proportion. But he comes in there and he looked just like he just got off a school bus, and he goes up to Samoa Joe. They have a stare down, and then he says 1 week. So we're going to get a matchup between these two next week, Dynamite. I can't necessarily say I'm excited for this, but what I can say is that I'm not sure how this will help Hook. How is Hook going to lose a match like this with Samoa Joe, but still go over in some type of way? I just don't know if this was the right call. Only time will tell, and we'll see how that actually works out for him on Wednesday, because, there's enough time for Taz to get funeral arrangements. Now we have the busiest woman in pro wrestling, Renee Paquette, backstage. This time she's with Mariah May, Toni Storms, and Luther. Mariah wants to know if Toni Storms saw her match, but our homie Toni, she is busy. She had things to do. She got screeners to go to. There are opportunities for her. She doesn't have time to be taking care of charity. Someone else can do it for her. Obviously, she didn't see the match with Mariah May, and Mariah obviously is not feeling great about that. However, Renee had to let Toni Storm know that Deonna Purrazzo is now in AEW, and she has her eyes set on the AEW Women's title, and Toni Storm did not know about this because she's busy, and she asks Luther to set up a meeting between her and Deonna, and I think it's going to be so good. Now, we do have a one-on-one matchup for the first time ever, which is like still mind-boggling to me. Sammy Guevara versus Ricky Starks. This never happened. Like, this is just so weird to think that something like that never happened. I don't know. Now, these two, this was not the best match, in my opinion. Something about it felt flat for me. But it was still great to see these two guys in the ring. I'm not a fan of Sammy Guevara, but I do think he is talented in the ring. Ricky Starks is also another talented wrestler as well, who could be doing really big things in AEW, and for whatever reason it has not happened at this point yet. But I do believe with him having the tag titles is him, basically on his way to bigger and better things. Now, like I said, this match wasn't the best match, but it felt very strange to see Sammy Guevara take the win here over Ricky Starks, and I'm just like, what? This just felt very weird. Like, it just felt like it shouldn't have happened. Granted, they do have a tag match on Battle of the Belts on Saturday, so it's going to be Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara versus Big Bill and Ricky Starks for the title. And a lot of people were saying that, hey, on the upside, at least Sammy taking the win tonight kind of shows that they're going to take the L on Saturday, so we should be happy about that. And honestly, I do think that that would be absolutely fantastic if Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara does not win. Now, after the match, Sammy Guevara does go in to shake Ricky Stark's hand, and it almost seemed like Ricky might be going for it, but then Big Bill comes from behind and attacks Sammy Guevara, and just old-fashioned heel form. And you know what? I'm with it. Thank you for the attack, Big Bill. Obviously, Chris Jericho comes out and take care of business too. The issue with Chris Jericho is that sometimes he feels like he just doesn't fit in for certain things with some of these younger people. And this is not me trying to get at him about his age or whatever. It's just like, he just feels off in the situation with Big Bill, Ricky Starks, and Sammy Guevara. Something about it just don't feel, like anybody gives a damn about it. But I'll say this though, I didn't realize this until after the show. People who were there were saying that when Chris Jericho came out, they had to keep his music on and even put the music up because people were booing him and shouting out NDA based off, the foolishness that's been going on social media. And it's not really looking good for Chris Jericho because the fans are definitely responding to whatever it is that they've heard on social media. And that right there is a hindrance to other people that he's going to be in the ring with. I don't know what all the details are or whatever. But if this is a occurring situation, which we will be able to see play out on Battle of the Belts, when Chris Jericho's in the ring and the music can't be playing the whole match, then we're going to really see how people truly feel about Chris Jericho. So Tony Khan, if there's something going on with that, fix it. Up next, we had the ladies in 8-man tag. We had Thunder Rosa, Chris Statlander, Willow Nightingale, and Anna Jay of all people, versus Julia Hart, Sky Blue, Saraya, and Ruby Soho. And then we also do have Harley Cameron ringside with the heel team. This match was okay. And watching this, I really felt like, damn, look at all these beautiful ladies here that could be having opportunities to elevate their careers. And it feels like it's moving really, really slow. It feels like even with 2 titles with the women's division, that there's not progress going on with these ladies. And something about it, something needs to be fixed, man. I don't get it. Now, I'm going to say this. Anna Jay is not a babyface. She's obviously part of that group with the former JAS members or whatnot. And for this night alone, because of Brody Lee, since I caught on to it by this match, that the people who were winning matches are people who have had ties with Brody Lee. I'm not mad about it, but it's just like I said, I get we want to pay tribute or whatever, but does it make sense with what's going on right now? No, it does not. So people are feeling some type of way. But let me just say this, that I did not like absolutely was Anna Jay pinning Sky Blue. Sky Blue is supposed to be at another level right now where she is most likely have joined the House of Black, and it's so difficult to tell if she's really part of that group or not. I cannot tell if that's the situation. And I just felt like out of all the girls in that group, why was Sky the one to be pinned? I get not Julia. Saraya, Ruby, girls, I'm sorry. It could have been one of y'all. It's just that what they're doing with Sky Blue right now needs to be consistent. She needs to be shown consistent in terms of being with Julia Hart or being in the House of Black. And I feel like they haven't really decided if she's truly part of the house or not. And the inconsistency thing may be something to hurt her in the near future, and that's something that I really don't want to see. I'm liking the fact that they were doing something with her, but they need to stay consistent with it. So her being the one to be pinned, I believe, was an absolute wrong decision to make in this situation, especially when you're going to take someone like Anna Jay and put her on her face as a baby face. It just doesn't really make sense to me. So I do hope things get better within the women's division, and whatever they're doing with Sky Blue, please stay consistent. Like, this is how you build up great female wrestlers and characters. Exactly what you guys did with Julia. Y'all stayed on it. Y'all stayed consistent with it. And now she's holding a title. You got to do the same thing with Sky Blue too. Up next, in a match that I believe that was randomly thrown in, Brian Keith versus Roderick Strong. We did have all the members of the Undisputed Kingdom to come out. The match did feel really last second. It's great to see Brian Keith in the ring again. I hope he does get a nice big fat contract with AEW. However, the randomness of this was just really strange, and it kind of fit with the theme of the whole show, to be completely honest with you. I'm not even gonna lie. Obviously, Roderick takes the win, and then we have a promo from Adam Cole. I'm not feeling it. None of this is garbage. I'm sorry. It's garbage. They're also even publicly just making everyone know that Wardlow is really insignificant in this situation, which is, I don't understand. Like, what is going, you know what? I don't want to lose my head over it, you guys. It just didn't really make sense to me, because they're publicly just letting you know that, yeah, we just started this group. We put a whole locker room on notice. But they're also showing that as a group, they really don't got their shit together either, because they're already signaling out Wardlow to just be some kind of this little character off on the side that's going to help Adam Cole get the AEW World title. It just does not make sense. Why put Wardlow back in a situation that he's been in since day freaking one in this company? I just don't get it. And aside from that, I am not convinced with Adam Cole right now as this heel. Not that what he's saying was bad. You've been walking around with this mask or whatever, and then here you are, you've unveiled yourself and you're on crutches. People are helping you walk to the ring. How am I supposed to feel like you are a threat in situations like this? You don't come off as a threat. You don't come off as this monster heel like how before you unveiled yourself. So something about this, I feel like they need to get back to the drawing board and tweak some things here in this situation, because the way it's portrayed for everyone to see, I don't think anybody is necessarily happy about the situation. Up next, we have a tornado tag team match for our main event. We have Sting, Darby Allin with Ric Flair versus Konosuke Takeshita, Powerhouse Hobbs with Uncle Don. Okay, so this came on like literally, this is probably like 10 minutes. I don't like short main events. I really don't like that at all. But it is what it is, especially with Sting being in the situation. I can understand why the match is obviously cut short compared to other main events. This was a tornado tag match, so pinfall anywhere. They were pretty much throughout the crowd at first, and Daily's Place is a very different venue compared to most venues that you'd see. So it was really tough to kind of really see what was going on with the camera angles. Some places were really dark. Some places is just where the way people were positioned in the building made it difficult to follow along when they were out in the crowd. But they do make it back into the ring. And I'm telling you, the way that they were just Hobbs and Takeshita with just manhandling Darby like he was just some kind of rag to be thrown around, I was absolutely shocked. I was like, man, Darby Allin don't care what people do with his body. He literally does not care. And long story short, the match ends with a spot where Powerhouse Hobbs is going to put Sting through two tables that are side by side with each other. Somehow Sting counters that, and it still looks like they both did go through the table, but I'm guessing they wanted to look like Hobbs got the worst of it. Now, Hobbs is laying there, and Sting goes, put his arm on him for the cover, because obviously falls count anywhere at this point, and takes the win. However, Sting looks fucking out of it after this. And I'm looking at this and I'm just feeling very worried because I wasn't sure if he was okay or not. And then you look at the situation where you have, the doctors and the refs and even Rick running over to make sure that he's okay. He does end up getting on his feet. But that really does concern me because I'm just looking at this and I'm just like, okay, you're less than 2 months away from your retirement match. We cannot be doing spots like this. You're in your early 60s. This is just not the way to go. You want to make it to that final match, you're going to have to save whatever foolishness you want to put in your match for that last match, for real. Because he might not even make it in good shape for that last match. And they may even, if that ever happened, they would have to postpone his last match for some other time, which obviously they're not going to be able to do. The tickets are almost sold out. Everybody obviously wants to see Sting's last match. Now, Tony Schiavone, the schoolgirl that he is for Sting, is in the ring, and he asks Sting who is his last opponent going to be. And it turned out that we hear music, and it is the Young Bucks. They come out, and that doesn't surprise me because Sting is definitely not at that point of his career to do singles competition. He's definitely going to have to ride this last match out with Darby, pretty much like how we saw with what's his name, Ric Flair, also doing a tag match for his last match too. So I get it. It makes sense. However, I'm looking at this and I'm just like, whoa, whoever even thought that it would be the Young Bucks? So I was really shook to see that. I'm sort of not necessarily sure if people are happy about this. If they can just ride this out and make this a really great story, people will definitely get hyped up to see the Young Bucks versus Darby Allin and Sting for Sting's retirement match. They're really going to have to tell a story from here. Absolutely. If they don't do that, that is not going to help people feel excited for the match. They're obviously going to want to witness what Sting's going to do in his last moments in the ring. But in terms of people being happy about this, they have to amp up some type of story to get people in this. Now, like I said, the show was pretty mid for me. A lot of things here was really skippable. From this moment forward, they're just going to have to just have things make sense, tell some great stories. And for Sting, they need to let this man retire exactly how he wants to. And if they really want to make sure that he retires exactly how he wants to, they need to keep him safe in the ring until then. If they don't do that, then they will not be this retirement match at Revolution. Guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I'll be back tomorrow with Ring of Honor.